Yo, what's up? Welcome to Numbers with Ace Jacari. I'm your host, Ace Jacari, but you already know, call me Ace. And in this episode, we're talking about the number 4 and a couple of the things that come with it. So if you're liking what you're hearing, make sure you share it on your socials and tag me at Numbers with Ace Jacari on Instagram or TikTok. And all the direct links are in the description of this episode. And let's go ahead and get into it because the number 4 is one of my favorite numbers actually to speak on in depth because of the very common misconceptions around it and also the strong emphasis of duality. I talk about duality so very much, and it's really important to understand that numbers do more than one thing, and the number 4 is very highlighting of that. Now, I do go more in depth about this number and all the rest of the numbers in my Intro to Numerology guide, which is linked below, and you can check that out so you can learn more about these numbers. But the number 4 is ruled by Uranus, the North Node, Saturn, and Mercury. This is a very complex energy. 4 different rulers, Uranus highlighting this innovation, this movement, this and this like increase in a way, and the North Node also highlighting a level of increase and potential, and then Saturn highlighting this stability and the structure and a little bit of a slower movement, and then Mercury adding this intellectual side to it of comprehension and understanding. And all of these themes are highlighted in the number 4 and also resonate very strongly with people who are psychic 4s. If their mind is very active, they might feel a little bit chaotic, and these are people who are born on the 4th, the 13th, 22nd, or 31st. But that intensity is a lot. It's a lot to take in. And I think when you limit the number 4 to just being a number of stability or reliance or a structure or any other set just solely Saturnian themes, you limit the potentials that come with the number 4. Because you hear some people speak about how the 4 is very visionary focused, of it has visions and it sees what can become, and that's very much highlighted in the North Node rulership and also Uranus. So it's like it's subtly in there in conversation, but the rulership being clearly stated is not something that I see enough for my liking. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Miss 4. So these rulerships come from Pythagorean, Chaldean, and Vedic systems. Saturn and Mercury comes from Pythagorean, which is where you'll commonly see, especially in the Western worlds, of how people will say that 4 is the number of structure. Psychic 4s or birth date number 4s are people who are very reliable, very patient, very steady, very easygoing per se. And then you have a bunch of 4s being like, no, I'm not those things. I don't know what you're talking about. And this is where you get that duality of those other rulerships of Uranus coming from Chaldean and the North Node coming from Vedic, and that intensity and that other side of this steady Saturn energy would in some cases be this chaotic Uranus energy that is innovative and experimental and is trying different things and being like, well, I kind of wanted to look like this and kind of wanted to go like this, and I'm also not against it going like this, and very much in a fucking around finding it out in the best way energy. And I really love that because it allows evolvement through time to progress very smoothly and very just steadily when you think about it. And the thing about the number 4, it can be very anxiety prone, because if you think about it, 4 rulers, that is a lot of energy in one number, and that's actually the only number that I can recall. I'm pretty sure it's the only number that I've ever come across that has 4 rulers so very clearly in its energy. And you can very much see each and every one of those rulers and how it behaves because of the intensity it encompasses. But the mind of a psychic 4 per se can be very chaotic and very disruptive because of all of this movement that's going on. Psychic 4s can tend to be a little bit more quiet and kept to themselves and not really so much in the social spaces too much. They can be the quiet ones in the room, but they also, when they have that interest that they know a lot about, can also be very talkative. Because that Mercury rulership is there, they have a high level of comprehension and understanding. So it's very interesting to look at when we talk about psychic 4s or just people who have 4s in their numerology in the public eye. You get people like Jill Scott, you get Coco Jones, you got Quincy Brown, you got Maya Angelou, you got Taylor Swift, you got Snow Allegra, you got Jamie Foxx is in there, Stevie Wonder, Dua Lipa, Sam Cooke, Baby Keem, who else is in there? Justin Timberlake, Normani, Lil Uzi. Like, there's a bunch of different public figures, whether you fuck with them or not, who have psychic fours, who have not only made a name for themselves, but tend to be a little bit on the more unique side. Because that 4 has that Uranus rulership, you have a little bit of this otherworldly energy in there. You have something that is not of the present, because number 4 is very much of the future. I always will say that the number 4 is very much connected to faith and sort of kind of trusting the process, because that vision is there, and because you're able to see certain things so very clearly. It puts you in a position where you have this understanding and this knowing that other people might not have. And you're like, oh yeah, it's gonna go like this. This is what's gonna happen. And other people are like, I don't know how you got there, but no. But then look back at it and it's like, oh, well, maybe they were right. And sometimes it takes a second to play out, but it's really, and this isn't to say that to listen to any person who's a psychic 4 about anything they say. It's like, no, use your discernment. Please use your discernment. But it's really beneficial to understand how versatile energy of numbers are, and also how the number 4 behaves within this complex energy of the possibilities that embodies, the creativity embodies, because you can get so much out of this. And this is even applies to people who aren't even psychic 4s. This also aligns with people who are life path 4s or name number 4s, but also anybody who has any number over their number 4, because also the number 4 highlights the theme, the overall theme of faith and trust, and a form of spirituality that is more future related. The number of spirituality is typically attributed to spirit. The spirituality number is 7. Everybody likes to be like 7 is the number of spirituality, and that's not necessarily or inherently wrong. It's a different form of spirituality, which I want to clarify. So 4 is this future knowing, this external knowing per se, of you're able to see the signs clearly, or even feel the signs coming at you. You might feel this pressure, you might feel this tension, you might feel this build up of some sort. And whereas at 7 is more of that internal knowing, that internal spiritual space. But yeah, I hope this helps you out. And if you are a psychic 4 and you want to know even more about your number than this, I would recommend booking a consultation with me. Because I do have services. I have readings, mentorships, and also client work that I do. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure you tap in with that. But, this is all I got for you. Check out the guides and make sure you follow the podcast and give it a nice little rate if you're loving it. But thank you so much for listening, and share this with somebody who wants to talk about numbers, or even learn more about numbers, or even has a number 4, any of the things like that. But yeah, follow me on IG and TikTok at Numbers with Jacari, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.